Hello, it's Carol Baker here. I'm from Classroom Wellbeing and I'm talking to you again today about yoga in the classroom. If we can't do it in PE lessons, the next best thing is to do it at your desk. It's great for tension release, stress release, giving you more energy and vitality. So again today we're going to focus on the shoulders, and the arms are always in front of us, so we get very closed down. That closes down not only your breathing but your heart, and it makes your posture really rounded, and therefore you have no energy. So we're going to look at opening up the front of the chest here. Very good if you get a lot of coughs and colds, that kind of thing. So the first pose we're going to do is called the cow pose. Don't ask me why it's called the cow pose, I'm not quite sure. But it's a great way to not only stretch your shoulders, but to test whether you are becoming wonky or not. Now I hope as youngsters, you won't be wonky yet, but what happens as we get older is that we develop habits of movement and patterns of movement. So we always carry our bag on one shoulder, or we always carry something heavy on one hip. And what happens is that side of the body gets really tight and quite strong, but the other side of the body gets quite weak and is a little bit more flexible. And so yoga is about bringing the body back into that state of balance and ease, so everything is the same as it should be, or as it used to be. So with the cow pose, again, like all of these yoga poses sitting in a chair, you need to sit upright. You're not going to be slumping back in your chair, because A, you'll squish your lungs and have no energy, and B, you won't do your spine any good at all. So you're sitting upright, you're going to take your right arm up in the air, and you're going to pat yourself between your shoulder blades. Then you're going to take hold of your left elbow and gently encourage that backwards so that the back of your head is touching the bit of your arm here, that forearm, okay? And then you're going to lift your head and you're going to super glue, imaginary super glue, the back of your head to your arm. So this is a bit of a stretch with this part of your shoulder here into the armpit. Make sure that this head doesn't come detached from your arm, okay? So don't let your arm drop and don't let your head move forward. So then your other arm, which is your left arm, is going up your back, and you're aiming to hold your hands, or to at least link a couple of fingers or a couple of fingernails. So if I show you that now, this is what it should look like. Not this arm down here, but this arm up here. Now for some people that's going to be really difficult because their shoulders are tight. Okay, maybe they've played a racket sport, or maybe they've done a lot of lifting of their bags. But the idea is you're kind of designed to scratch all parts of your own back, or to put your own sun cream on. So you should be able to reach all of your back, and you should be able to easily link your fingers together. So what we'll do is we hold this for a few times. If you find it really difficult to reach, then just get hold of a strap. You know, the bag strap, or your tie. If you take your tie off and use your tie, if you wear a tie, or a piece of ribbon, or anything that you can use if you're practicing this at home as well, that's going to help you. So you have the strap in either hand, and then you just work your hands along the strap until you can get your fingers linked together. Okay, so you're going to hold it for our usual 5 or 6 nice deep slow breaths. You're not forcing it. As you let go of it, just look after that left shoulder, because you've had the arm behind you, which is not something you do that often. Give that shoulder a couple of circles. And now you're going to do the same the other way around. So your left arm will be the first one to go up. You'll pat that between your shoulder blades. Again, you're going to just move the elbow back. You're going to keep the neck nice and long. You're going to put that little bit of super glue between your head and this front part of your arm. And then your right arm is going to go up the back. Now, the problem is a lot of the time, certainly with older people, is that it's different when you do that side. But it should be the same. And the reason it's the same is because if you test, your arms are exactly the same length. The only reason you find it more difficult on one side than the other is that you've injured your shoulder, or your shoulder is tighter on that side just because you use it more. So think about when you lift things and when you put your bag on your shoulder, either have a backpack where you use both shoulders, or make sure you swap from one shoulder to the other. So again, we've got 5 really deep, slow breaths holding it here. Just trying to edge those fingers a little bit closer together. And after those 5 breaths, we're going to gently undo it. We're going to look after that right shoulder to bring the arm round and circle it. And then my advice always is, if one shoulder is tighter than the other, it's fantastic that you're going to do both shoulders, but you're always going to have a difference between one and the other. So the shoulder that's tightest, you're going to repeat that one again. So you gradually bring them back so that they're level. Okay? So the second shoulder pose we're going to do today is called the arms of the eagle pose in yoga. And the eagle pose is a balance, but we can do the arms while we're sitting at our desk. So the hands come out in front of you. You take your left elbow and you cross it over your right elbow. Then you gently slide that left elbow forward. So you bend both arms and your left elbow is slightly forward, sitting in the crease of your right arm. And the backs of your hands will face each other. Okay, now gradually and slowly, again, not forcing it, you're trying to bring the backs of the hands towards each other. They might not come towards each other to start with. Okay, don't force them. Eventually, they will touch. Eventually, you'll get the palms together. But anywhere from here to here is fine. Now the shoulders, again, I'm going to crack my Shrek joke, don't want to be up here by the ears. So the shoulders need to stay down. The shoulders need to go back and the neck needs to be long. So to increase the stretch, and this is now on the outside of your shoulders, you breathe in, you take the elbows forward, and as you breathe out, you try and lift the elbows up, but not the shoulders. Okay, so neck is long again. Breathe in, you take the elbows forward, and breathe out, you draw the elbows up. We'll try that again. We've got 3 more breaths. In breath, elbows forward, out breath, elbows up. And it might be you're doing that here. You haven't managed to get your hands together yet. They'll come. And 1 more breath. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to move the elbows across to the right. We're going to relax that left shoulder and we're going to turn our head to the left. And we've got another 5 breaths here. Again, breathe in, elbows slightly forward and breathe out, elbows slightly up. Keep dropping that left shoulder and turning your head a little bit more to the left. So we've added the neck into this as well. So we'll do 5 breaths here. Nice deep slow breaths, not hunching the shoulders, not trying to force it. And then slowly the head will come back to the centre and the elbows will come back. We'll undo them. And I've got to swap over and see if it's the same when we do it the other way around. So the right elbow goes across, you bring that slightly forward, you bend the arms again, so you've got both hands facing each other, the back of both hands, that elbow's sitting in the crook of the other arm, you're sitting nice and tall again. You slowly start to encourage those hands towards each other, don't force them, they may or may not come together. Shoulders back and down. Again, we've got 5 breaths here, so as you breathe in, we've got elbows forward, and as you breathe out, we're taking the elbows up, not the shoulders. Again, we breathe in, elbows forward, breathe out, elbows up. We've got 3 more breaths here in this position. Again, you might be doing it here, which is fine. Gradually, the more you practice these poses, the easier they'll become. Yeah? The less stiff you'll be. Shoulders will be more loose and flexible and there'll be less tension. So now this time we move the elbows to the left, we relax the right shoulder and we turn the head to the right. So again, don't let that right shoulder come up towards your chin, keep your neck long. We've got 5 breaths here. Elbows are still going slightly forward on the in-breath and slightly up on the exhale, the out-breath. And after your 5 breaths here, don't let yourself fall, keep nice and tall. And then slowly head back to the centre, arms back to the centre, and release it. And that's you stretched your shoulders again.